Okay, good evening. The time is 7 o'clock, September 16, 2014, the regular session number 35 of the Raytown Board of Aldermen. I'll ask at this time our friend Larry Cleveland to come forward and deliver the invocation, please.
Gracious Creator God, we've assembled this evening to create a common ground, a meeting place in which to conduct the business of the city of Raytown. To this end, we raise our voices in supplication, asking your blessing of wisdom and insight upon the government of this city and its elected officials. We come in thanksgiving for our freedom and for citizenship in this beautiful community. We come asking that these same officials might discuss the agenda before them in civility, mutual respect, and with their common goal being the good of the citizens of this fair city. May that goal be foremost in their hearts and minds as they discuss and deliberate the issues before them. We thank you for the relationships that we treasure with family, friends, and neighbors. May you truly bless both this assembly and this community. We pray humbly and sincerely. Amen.
Thank you, Larry. And at this time, we've got the flag ceremony to be provided by the Honor Guard of Troop 1088. Gentlemen.
Color Guard advance. Scout salute. Please place your hands over your hearts. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color Guard, change colors. Color Guard retreat.
Thank you, Troop 1088. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Alderman Kramer.
Here.
Alderman Josh Green.
Here.
Alderman Azier.
Here.
Alderman Jason Green.
Here.
Alderman Emerson.
Here.
Alderman Nelson.
Here.
Alderman Ertz.
Here.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Here.
Alderman Mock.
Here.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Here.
Okay, we have several proclamations to give out at this time. I'm going to first read the one related to Brewer and Shipley Day. This is at the upcoming event of our Arts and Music Festival, Raytown's 2014 Arts and Music Festival on September 27th. The duo, most widely known for their intricate guitar work and vocal harmonies, continue to produce melodic music and underlying lyrical themes of personal freedom and traditional songs of love that resonate with both old and new fans. And whereas Brewer and Shipley, the American folk rock duo, enjoyed most of their success while being residents right here in Raytown in the 1970s. Whereas Brewer and Shipley have agreed to support our city by headlining the Raytown's 2014 Arts and Music Festival on September 27, 2014, bringing a level of excellence to this event. I, David Bauer, Mayor of the great city of Raytown, do hereby and in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim September 27, 2014 as Brewer and Shipley Day in the city of Raytown and encourage all Raytown residents to join me and this board in recognizing their music. Signed this day, September 16, 2014. We look forward to that greatly. That'll be a fantastic event. And now I'd like to have our good friends from Funhouse Pizza come forward, please. This one is especially one of my favorites is I spent a great deal of time at Funhouse Pizza. One of my favorite pizzas in high school, it was our hangout, one of our hangouts. Van Horn kids would come over here and do a little damage in Raytown and have some pizza there as well. But I can attribute this waistline of mine to good Funhouse Pizza. So very good pizza. You still find it in our house on a regular basis. In 1964, Funhouse Pizza was founded with a desire to provide residents with a family-friendly establishment that serves a high quality of product. To this day, uses the same original recipes. Whereas Gary Graham, owner of Funhouse Pizza, consistently has used his business to enrich the culture of Raytown with his local support of youth sports by sponsoring football, soccer, swimming, and baseball teams. Whereas Funhouse Pizza, during their 50 years of existence, has supported the community throughout its civic efforts, including the Raytown Arts and Music Festival, Chamber of Commerce, Raytown Emergency Assistance Program, the Operation Thermal, Raytown Optimist Club, Downtown Main Street, Raytown Police Benefit Association, the Mayor's Waistline, as well as hundreds of fundraisers and events for our local churches and schools. Funhouse Pizza has provided essential employment opportunities for residents of Raytown and contributed to the character and unique appeal of our community. Funhouse Pizza has provided countless memories for Raytown residents, both past and present. The City of Raytown recognizes the important role that Funhouse Pizza and Gary Graham have had in our economy and their strong commitment to our community. I, David Bauer, Mayor of the City of Raytown, on behalf of the Board of Aldermen, do hereby proclaim today, September 16th, 2014, as the 50th anniversary of Funhouse Pizza Day in the City of Raytown, and encourage all residents to order the combo and to join with me in recognizing Funhouse Pizza. Gary, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank the aldermen and the mayor for this amazing award here. And back in 1964, when my mom and dad started this restaurant, they had no idea how the city would react to a pizza place. No one ever thought Raytown could support this thing for this long. And I just want to thank all the people of Raytown for all your support over the years. And we hope to see you out at the Arts and Music Fest on the 27th with Brewer and Shipley. We're proud to be a sponsor of that. And just another thing for Raytown to get together and get behind the city and support our cause. Thank you very much.
Where's Brenda? Here comes Brenda. This year, Raytown again participated in the Municipal Challenge across the metro area, and our team, as usual, did quite well. We came in third overall, but that's amazing when you consider that we have to compete with the much larger cities, not necessarily the more physical or more able in sports, but those cities of Independence and Blue Springs as well. Strangely enough, I actually won second place in the Mayor's Challenge for basketball. We had a bunch of other short people out there, so the slam dunk was a lot easier this year. But again, the big winners this year, if they could come forward at this time, Christy Asanias. Did I get it right? Yes. Christy won first place in disc golf, dodgeball, football toss, hot shot basketball, and kickball. First place being the gold medal. And that's just the gold medals. Silver went to her as well in sand volleyball and table tennis. And bronze went to her in the softball throw and table tennis also. I don't know how you did both, but I'm sure there's a way you got both bronze and silver. Both sides of the table probably running back and forth. Oh, there was a good reason. All right. Congratulations, Christy. Garrett Baxter. Garrett took gold in the 3-on-3 basketball, the 5K run. I was able to drive and follow you on that one. Dodgeball, kickball, and softball throw as well in the men's category, all gold. Silver medal as well for the football toss and sand volleyball. Congratulations, Garrett Baxter. A familiar face to a lot of us, Jason Hansen. Jason didn't quite get as many as Christy did, although I know that was his goal for this year. Jason took the gold in the eight ball doubles. What's 8-ball doubles? Pool. 8-ball. Got it. 8-ball doubles. Gold also in dodgeball and gold in kickball. He also took the silver in 8-ball singles, sand volleyball, table tennis doubles. Congratulations, Jason. Michelle George. Michelle took the gold in kickball and took the silver in sand volleyball. Congratulations, Michelle. Melanie Schaefer. There she is, taking camera. Somebody else can probably handle the camera while you come up here, right?
Hello, I just participated.
Thank you, Melanie, for participating. Thank you. Melanie participated. There you go. There you go. Others with Melanie also were Scott Peterson, Jocelyn Logan, Dave Turner, Doug Jonasy, June Van Loo, Sean Diddy, Andy Boyd, and that's it. But we had a great showing. We had a great showing against some really tough competition out there. I was especially happy you all were there to cheer me on for my silver, which I was happy to have. But very proud of these folks and what they do, and our city fared very, very well, and I'm continuing to be proud. And on behalf of the board, thank you each for your participation. Okay, at this time, we're going to open the floor up to public comments. I've got, looks like 8 people on the list for people that want to speak, and first on the list is Alice Stoll. This young lady, for those that don't know, Alice is probably the most active person in all of the city of Raytown, and we love her dearly.
Thank you. There are a couple of things we want to talk about, and the first is if you've had an opportunity out here in the big hallway, please take time to look at that. This is Constitution Week, beginning tomorrow, the 17th to the 23rd, and we have been to all the kindergarten classes, and they have This Is My Country, and they've signed, every one of them has signed these, and some of them are printed backwards, but we know who they are anyway, and at least we're showing that they have an early interest in the history of our country. And so we do have the big, let's see, we have the proclamation from the mayor, and the Marguerite McNair chapter and the Council on Aging are sponsoring this, and you'll have a chance to look at it too. And the other thing, and you'll be seeing more of it, we are having our 6th annual tribute and thank you to all the American veterans and veterans' widows. And this is coming up November the 9th. We know it's early, but we want you to put it on your calendar. It's a special time. We have Representative McDonald, our Mayor Bauer will speak at it, and we have the men's chorus, Kansas City Men's Chorus will be there. Our Raytown Symphonic Band will play jazz and all that kind of thing that they played years ago for the veterans. And we have a social hour too, but it's a wonderful thing, so we hope people will come. And here again, notify the veterans and veterans' widows. And thank you. We'll look for your coming.
Thank you. I'll be there. Thanks, Alice. David Hartman is next. Welcome, Mr. Hartman.
Thank you. My name is David Hartman. I live at 9935 View High Drive in Kansas City, but I also own and lived at 8524 Oxford in Raytown for 30 years, and I'm an employee of the City of Raytown Public Works. I know that you're getting ready to finalize your budget for this year, and there's a couple of things I wanted to point out to y'all. Currently, we are two members short on our crews. We have been since February or March. There's another man that's leaving next week, going to new employment, and two others that I know of that are actively seeking employment. And I'm looking for a way to move up and better myself as well, because Raytown starts everybody at a nice even $12.91 an hour, and there is no provision for incentive or merit raises at all in the city of Raytown. At one point in time, as we took tests and gained certificates for various projects, the signs and signals crew and work zone safety certificates, things like that. We used to get, I heard, $1 an hour for each of those certificates. Then I heard 50 cents an hour. When I got mine, not so much anything at all. In the first year that I worked for the city of Raytown, I applied myself and took information that I had gained at other places of employment and applied that to the hazardous waste storage, the collection of things that we had sitting in the back lot. Heritage Crystal Clean said they'd come out and take care of that for $3,000. I took the information that I knew and $300 worth of cement and disposed of all that. Never received any kind of thank you or remuneration for that. I worked on floor cleaning equipment at previous employment. I worked on the floor equipment for the city of Raytown just because I know how to do it. They said I had the time, go ahead and do it. I took care of it. And these kinds of things, as I was doing them, my coworkers would tell me, "You're wasting your time, man. We don't do merit raises. There's nothing you're going to get for this. You're just wasting your time." And unfortunately, it seems like they're right. As employees of the city of Raytown, we operate equipment that costs anywhere from $60,000 to $250,000. You entrust that with us, and we go out and take care of the city's needs, day or night, in snow and rain and everything else. Our work zone is in the middle of the street where people are driving by talking on their cell phones, and it's a dangerous job. It seems to me that $12.91 an hour is a pittance for the things that we do. When we are on call every 6 weeks or so, receive a call at 2 a.m. because their storm has come through and the lights are out. You have to go out in that total darkness, rain, hail, or whatever, clean up downed trees, place stop signs at controlled intersections that are no longer functioning correctly. We're called out for a period of 3 hours. That's 3-hour show-up pay. We go out, we take care of that job, take care of the things that were done. If another storm line blows through before that 3 hours is up, we have to come back in and continue to work without call-up pay because we're still on the clock. It's just all included in things we're already doing, even though we've already gone back home and gone to sleep. When the snow comes, I go from a day shift worker, 7 to 4, to a night shift worker, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., at the drop of a hat. We come in and wait for the snow to come in when everybody else is sitting in their houses because the snow's coming, got to be safe, don't go out. We go out and we plow the streets. And the thanks that we get from a lot of the citizens is throwing snow shovels at us, complaining because we've blocked their driveway with the snow that was in the street. And we've had the police called on us a couple of times as well for that. So I just think, we're an underappreciated group in general, and that I hope that you would correct that to some extent as you discuss the pay that you're going to give for us this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Catherine Nelson, before you come up, we do have one public hearing on the agenda for tonight. So if you're here to talk about item 6, the public hearing regarding property tax levy, we need you to speak at that time. But anything else is fair game. So Catherine Nelson.
Totally confused me. I didn't know whether I was supposed to come up or not.
Are you here for the public hearing?
For the development on 51st and Blue Ridge?
Then you're here at the right time, right place. You are here at the right spot. Maybe 2 feet to your left so we can hear you, though. Thank you.
I'm Catherine Nelson. I live at 5228 Fuller Drive. I'm the weed in the flower garden. I live in Kansas City, but it's not my fault. I was up here last summer with some of my neighbors with concerns over the flooding from the new development. We have flooded 3 times this year. The first time was April 23rd when the Raytown Water Department had them flush the pipes. Why didn't the water go into the detention basin? Then the next time was July 8th. We had a 2-inch rain, had the same flooding problem. And then August the 6th, we had that electrical storm, and we had a torrent that went through our yards, and it brought a lot of sediment with it. It went around the cul-de-sac, up the neighbor's driveway, and it left a lot of mud. She had to shovel out her driveway. And Jason Hansen and Andy Boyd came out and looked at it, and she told them that the water had come up farther than it had ever come before. So it's a scary thing for me to go through. I have some questions for you. Where is that settlement coming from? I think it's coming from the development, not the, I'm the low point in the whole process. Why are we flooding if the detention basin is supposed to keep us safe? What's going to be done about the flooding? And how will I get answers for my questions? Do I need to come back to the board meeting, or will somebody contact me? I haven't had very good luck with people contacting me. I've talked to John Benson and Jason Hansen and Andy Boyd, and I have to come up here to get my questions answered. So that's my question. Thank you.
I thank you. And unfortunately, our practice at this time is because we don't know the answers to your questions,
Well,
we listen, but what we'll do is we'll find out what's going on with that, and someone from Public Works or our city administration will be contacting you. And I've got you at 5228 Fuller, 356.
5228 Fuller Drive.
Fuller, 356-6820. Someone
Yes.
from our staff will be contacting you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Someone from our staff will be contacting
Okay.
you for sure.
So I won't need to come back up to a meeting?
If you have to come back up here again, we got a problem. So staff will be talking to you.
Okay,
All right,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Amy Kirkpatrick. A familiar face. Welcome, Amy.
Hello. I'm Amy Kirkpatrick, and I live at 5229 Fuller Drive. And I didn't know what I was signing, so I just want to say that I very much support my neighbors. My only, when we were first approached about this development behind our homes, we were assured that this flooding would not take place. And that development company, didn't. I think everything fell through, and this is a new company and a new project that I really haven't been all that attuned with everything that I've got going on in my personal life. But it is our cul-de-sac in the spring. When I first moved in 2000, we had our first rainstorm, and I live on a higher point than everybody else, but the water was coming in torrents around our homes and into the cul-de-sac. It was like you could float boats in, little boats in there. And so we're really concerned what that's doing to our property lines behind our house. And we were assured that this basin or detention center or whatever was the solution to what we needed for our properties to be secure. And, we do live in Kansas City, Missouri, but we are really affected by this development. My problem, another problem that I have is that entrance coming down 51st Street Street where these big trucks are coming in and out all the time. There are huge potholes, and they've tried to rectify that by putting gravel in it. But the first couple of times a dump truck hits that, all the gravel goes out, and then it's a couple of weeks before they, so we have like one lane traffic coming and going down 51st Street. And, you know, and it's up to whoever's driving back and forth to maintain that. They've tried to be responsible, but between the mud and the grout and the gravel and the holes, you know, it really has been, you know, an inconvenience. And that's all I have, I guess.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Gary Graham was on here, but I think Gary's probably already got what Gary came for tonight. Recognition for the Funhouse Pizza. How about Gwen Thomas, 5224 Fuller? You've made a sincere effort to be here tonight. Thank you.
Yes, I have. Good evening. My name is Gwen Thomas, and I reside at 5224 Fuller Drive, and I'm a 53-year-old disabled veteran. And I share the same concerns as with Amy and Kathy Nelson do. I'm concerned with the nuisance actions of the contractors developing, you know, in our backyards. The stormwater runoff has left little small swells of water in my backyard. We've, because of the unearthing of the grounds there for the development, we've had raccoons and all sorts of little animals to seek, I guess, refuge in our basement window wells. Also, my property has suffered mold. Down in the basement, it's become extremely moist, and so there's mold around the baseboards. And so what I wanted to know was if we could get copies of, well, we want to hold the contractors accountable, the contractors and the developers accountable. We would like to see copies maybe of their inspection sheets, their best management practices, their stormwater pollution prevention plans. We just want to make sure that there are no system fallacies, and we're not aware of that. Our properties are flooding, and there should be some kind of recourse. Hopefully they have liability insurance of some sort. We don't necessarily want to go to court at this point in time, but I do think that mediation would suffice right now. So the concern is pretty grave as far as our property being damaged and stuff. So we would like to request a mediator, specifically one that has an engineering background, at their expense, or we could share the expense or what have you. But we need to get together and have a sit-down meeting and talk about this because our properties are being damaged, you know. So it's almost like I told you so.
Again,
But it's come to
what we'll do
fruition.
is we'll ask our Public Works staff to take this and come back to this board and announce what's being done about that. So that's about the best thing we can do tonight.
Okay.
But I do appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, and we will greatly appreciate being acknowledged and, you know, and have a voice in this matter.
You have been heard, and thank you for representing us.
Thank you, Mayor.
As a veteran, thank you.
Thank you, everyone else.
Next is Woody Whitman. Welcome, Woody.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our Honorable Mayor, David Bauer, the Board of Aldermen, and the fellow Raytown citizens, members of the Raytown School District. I was shocked to view a TV news report on NBC very recently regarding the Missouri schools' test scores, which revealed the rating system of the 12 largest school districts in the surrounding Kansas City area. Raytown School District earned the very disappointing low rating of number 10. Now, despite the fact that the Kansas City School District was given a rating of 12, it had improved by 6 points from the previous years, whereas Raytown School District dropped some 13 points below that of the previous year. I was really alarmed when I saw this report. Blue Springs received, now that's the Blue Springs area, and school district received a number 1 rating. However, I can remember that more than 30 years ago, potential homeowners looked to Raytown first before investing in a home because of the Raytown School District's outstanding rating of number 1. I understand that our school district recently implemented the Common Core approach to educating our students. The school district's method of teaching, MAP, is making it extremely difficult for parents to help their children with their math problems, which only causes problems for the parent who wants to help the child. I am meeting with Dr. Markley, our superintendent of schools, next Tuesday afternoon at 1:30 to see where the problem lies and what the residents of the Raytown School District can do to help. I have learned that parental involvement in the PTAs is extremely poor, and it is my hope that with a grassroots initiative, parents will become encouraged to be greatly involved with the PTA to enable both parent and teacher to work together to help excel the child's knowledge and better prepare the student for the future when that student becomes an adult. Therefore, this evening, I'm proposing the energizing of a grassroots initiative comprised of our school district's residents who, like me, feel that we need to energize parental interest in PTA, efforts to have parents involved with the teacher in helping to prepare the student for the future. I feel that it might be a good idea to have several of my fellow district residents join with me in researching this math concept so that we can pass our newfound math concept knowledge on to both parents and students by offering them the knowledge that we have learned. I feel that the grassroots initiative can help our school district and its students achieve a much improved rating in the metropolitan community. If you own a home in the Raytown School District, you have an investment that is suffering due to our district's poor achievement rating. Hopefully, you will want to join this grassroots initiative to help improve our students' education while also improving the value of our real estate investments. If you seek better economic achievements in our children and an increasing value in your home investment, take it from me, with a 25-year background as a real estate broker. Everyone planning to move to Raytown will consider the school district and its rating when planning to invest in here. If you are interested, please call. Telephone number 737-6003. Leaving your name and phone number, someone will contact you shortly thereafter. Thank you.
Thanks, Woody. Okay, that completes the list of those that wanted to sign or speak to the board tonight. Does anyone else at this last minute want to address the board? Once, twice, moving on. A lot of things have happened since our last meeting, and want to be sure to let people know what's cooking. We had a big celebration this past Saturday night. There were plus 140, 150 people gathered for our senior celebration. Alderman Melson was present, as was our Tom Cole, the MC. We had a great time. We were seen to be doing some dancing and having fun in our little city here with all walks of life, and it was a fantastic night. Many people, many organizations came together for that, primarily the work by Vicki Turnbow and the Chamber, but a lot of other organizations came to play that night in making that happen. It was a big time, and I really appreciate all the work that everybody put together. And for all those toes that I stepped on that night dancing, I forgive you. I hope you're healed up by now. We had the Toast of the Towns a week ago Saturday, the 6th, where we recognize our Citizen of the Year. It's always phenomenal to me. We always have a big picture taken of all the people that are at that night, that celebration. Truman Heartland has our celebration, and there were probably close to, I would say, 40 Raytown citizens either involved in the meeting or in the celebration, were hosts as such, or were honorees. And it's always a big time for the city of Raytown, and it's something we should be very proud of, the number of people that we have celebrated over the years, and those that are still a very big part of our celebration day in their daily walks of lives here in our city. Just came back from a 3-day trip to St. Charles, Missouri, where we had the Missouri Municipal League Conference. A lot of cities were there, a lot of activity, a lot of legislative actions were taken, a lot of legislative actions were celebrated, and that we celebrated working to help override those that wanted to, or help to not override the governor's veto of many bills that would have affected us from a monetary standpoint in a very big form. So that was a big time. A lot of fun in St. Charles. I hope that we can get the board to come out and be a part of that in years to come. So with that, Tom is sitting in for the city administrator. Anything to add, sir?
No report at this time.
Okay, we'll go straight to committee reports. I'll start on my left with Mr. Mock.
Yeah, first off, excuse me, Council on the Aging will be meeting on Thursday, the 18th at 4:15 in the Chamber Conference Room. Second off, I'm going to say it one last time this month for right now, but I hope everyone can attend the Raytown Arts and Music Festival Saturday, September 27th at Carnegie Park. It will be from 11 till 6 p.m. featuring Burr and Shipley, originally from Raytown back in the 70s. I won't go over any music with you, but I hope everyone in the Raytown area, surrounding Raytown area, I don't care, Kansas, Missouri, everywhere, can be able to attend that night. So, one other thing, I have never got the chance to say congratulations to Michael McDonough, Citizen of the Year this year. So, congratulations, Mike. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Lightfoot, legislative.
Legislative committee has not met, but like the mayor alluded to, the majority of the legislative committee supported upholding the governor's veto of the special interest sales tax exemption. With that being the overwhelming feeling statewide, and many cities also supporting upholding that veto, that legislation was not overridden as it was expected it would be. So the legislation will not become a law. I will also report that the September 19th Chamber Government Relations Committee meeting has been postponed, so it will not be this Friday. It's been postponed until October 17th, that Friday. Thank you.
Mr. Van Buskirk.
Thank you. I was very delighted that there was some legislation where the veto was not upheld, and I appreciate the legislature doing that. I think that was pretty important. Wanted to say one word about, or my one word, maybe a few, about Funhouse Pizza. I can't help myself. You know, back in '64, my wife and I, when we were dating, went to Funhouse Pizza, and
64.
We got married later that year, in October that year, and we'll be married 50 years. next month. So
And this committee report is on what now?
so I guess Funhouse Pizza, yeah, they they, you know, they're the reason for that, I suppose. Anyway, we did have a special sales tax citizens review committee meeting on Thursday, September 11th, where we reviewed proposed purchases for the police department. We also heard presentations reviewing the proposed budget for both the capital sales tax and the transportation sales tax for the coming year, as well as a review of the ordinance that is established to show that committee's role and what their responsibilities are for their committee. So if anyone should have any questions relative to anything that we covered that night, feel free to contact me, and I'd be happy to share it with you.
Thank you. Mr. Ertz.
I do not have a report at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Emerson.
There's a tentative meeting of the Human Relations Committee this Thursday. I will let you know if you're interested, if it's really going to be held. We do need members, so you can contact the city. You can also do an application on the website. And then one other thing I'd like to mention is the Raytown Farmers Market. It's at 6210 Raytown Road. We have lots of good produce there, so we're there Thursdays from 2 to 7 and Saturdays from 8 to 1. Thanks.
Ms. Melson.
I do want to elaborate a little bit on the senior celebration that you spoke about. We did have about 150 people there. It was a very successful event. We will be doing an evaluation of that event, so if you have attended or would like to attend in the future and have some different ideas, please call the Raytown Chamber of Commerce, and we'll take those into advisement when we have our meeting, and we're starting to plan the next one. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the First Suburbs Coalition, which is the Mid-America Regionals group, and I am co-chair of that. It is 17 cities that surround the Kansas City, Missouri city of Kansas City, Missouri, and those communities meet every other month or every 3 months to discuss certain items that we all have in common. One of those things that we are working on is the KC Communities for All Ages, and we did pass a resolution that we'll be bringing forward to the Raytown Board of Aldermen at a later date, but it is the Community for All Ages checklist. It is something that the task force from Raytown, who was one of the pilot cities for that, worked on. That checklist has now been updated and finalized, and we'll bring that, and it is offer some different things that we can work on as a community, as a city, to make our community open to all ages. So that will be coming forward at a later date, and if you have any questions about the First Suburbs Coalition, don't hesitate to contact me. It is open to elected officials and also staff from all of those 17 cities. So if you do have any questions, just let me know.
Mr. Azure.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of the groups like the Council on Aging who offer their time and energy to make Raytown a better place to live and provide more quality of living for the people here. They do that tirelessly and as a gift to our community. A lot of people are very surprised to find out that Brewer and Shipley were residents of Ward 2, and I wanted to share that there also is another band from Raytown that has played from coast to coast and border to border and around the world, written a lot of songs, and most of those songs have been in the last 6 years recorded here in Raytown, where they currently have a recording studio, and that's River Rock. And if you want to learn about River Rock, you can probably go on riverrock.com and learn about them.
We're really knocking out these committee reports tonight. Mr. Green, any committee reports?
I'm not going to disappoint. Nothing to report from Fire Board. However, I will say this Friday, Raytown High School, Blue
Committee
Jays will be
reports.
going going up against the Raytown South Cardinals. I will be there. I hope to see many folks in attendance and a big community event, so I would say this is a community report.
We're letting you talk still.
Being said, this may make half the folks unhappy, but I think my boys at Ray High is going to have it this year, so I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Any more committee reports? Mr. Kramer?
Nothing.
Thank you. Mr. Green?
I do not have a committee report.
Excellent. Really push that, guys. Legislative session will begin at this time. We got the consent agenda, just the one item on it. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Kramer's got the motion to approve the consent agenda. Ms. Emerson's got the second. Any discussion before we vote? Call the vote, please.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Emerson?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman Mock?
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk?
Yes.
Alderman Ertz?
Yes.
Alderman Melson?
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green?
Yes.
Alderman Azier?
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green?
Yes.
We'll move to the regular agenda and ask the clerk to perform the reading on item number 2, please.
A resolution authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Vance Brothers, Inc. for the 2014 lightweight aggregate seal project in an amount not to exceed $183,330.
Mr. Knoll, although we already added to your plate some research that's got to be done on a neighboring development, could you please comment on this subject, sir?
Yes, this is our annual project as part of the pavement maintenance program for a lightweight aggregate. We issue a notice to bid in several locations online and then also in the paper. As is typically the issue, we get one contractor actually submitted on the bid, which is Vance Brothers. They do a good job for us. There were several others that picked up the plans for the project, but they just simply declined to submit a bid for the project, probably due to the size and that they're not very close to our location. Typically, they're based in western Kansas. Once they find out that it's right next to their competitor, they typically don't actually submit a bid, but that does help us in keeping some of the prices consistent. So this year, our total project is for the actual bid was $174,600. We ask for a little bit above that in an amount not to exceed $183,330 so that we can adjust for the actual measurements as we find in the field in case there's a little slight overrun, that we stay within our purchasing authority. Here to answer any other questions you may have.
Any questions, Mr. Knoll? Mr. Mock?
Yeah, Andy, just have we started the repairs of the streets and this and that? I just wondered.
Yes, we've been working on those since about May and June. As soon as we were done with snow, we start trying to identify the streets that will get sealed, and then the field crews start repairing the base.
Yeah, I was just down Hedges, Willoway today, and a couple other streets, just looking around, just wondered how I saw a patch or two.
Correct.
I didn't know if you were going to be doing any more work on those streets itself, but you can just let me know later on that.
Okay.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Mock's got the motion to approve, second by Mr. Azier. Into discussion, still on item number 2.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Kramer.
Every year we discuss this, and I'll just get it out of the way. As far as dust prevention, I know we've had one bad year. It was a couple of years ago, and last year was better. Have you had discussion with Vance Brothers in regards to keeping dust down?
That will be an item that we discuss in the pre-construction meeting.
Okay.
That very first year, that was they applied the aggregate at such a rate to make sure there was no oil that would get tracked anywhere. They were concerned about that, and that caused that high level of dust when you came back through to vacuum it up. Since that first year, that's one of the things we've worked with them, and they've been great to work with in addressing that dust issue. We make sure we don't put any more down than we have to, and we make sure that they're aware we're willing to close that road for about 30 minutes if we need to. They typically like to do it where they don't have to close anything, and to do that, they would put more aggregate on. So now they tend to try to detour traffic around so that they don't have to over-apply that, and then that keeps the dust down when they come through and sweep up any loose aggregate.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Van Buskirk.
We just received the one bid, is that correct?
That's correct, from Vance Brothers.
Okay. If you don't mind, Mr. Knoll, just a brief explanation again of what the lightweight aggregate seal does, why we utilize it. I still get calls, even though we've been doing this for several years, and I've explained this to a lot of people, I still get calls from people saying, why are we doing that instead of overlaying our streets? Well, I always explain the reason, but again, if you could just give a short explanation of that for those who might be tuned in on TV or who might listen to this presentation, I'd sure appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity. Basically, lightweight aggregate seal coat is a preservation treatment where we're trying to preserve the quality of the roadways that we have so we can get as much useful life out of that asphalt as we can. This is not to add, adds very little structural integrity to the roadway. That's why it's imperative that we come through and repair the major failed areas along the roadway before we come through and seal it. They come through with the oil and it seals every single crack along that roadway. That is what shortens the lifespan of our roadways, is that water getting into the base, gets wet, allows the pavement to move around, and then it fails. So that's why it's important for us to seal the entire roadway. That oil is also remains somewhat flexible, so as the road, it's going to move a little bit, but as it moves, it doesn't crack, it flexes so that it keeps that roadway sealed up. And then the aggregate provides a wearing surface so that the cars aren't wearing on the oil, they're wearing on the aggregate. So that's a modified oil that's modified with basically water, but it works very well. And then this extends the life, significantly adds another 7 to 10 years minimum to the life of that roadway for about $2 a square yard. Whereas to mill and overlay is going to be in excess of $10 a square yard. So for about a fifth of the price, and you add in some money for the base repairs that we're doing, but we get a nice consistent roadway that is consistent in texture and presentation with the color that should last quite a bit longer. So that's why we do it, so we can extend and stretch those dollars as far as we possibly can.
And where we do need to overlay streets, we are doing that, correct?
That's correct. Sometimes there's a roadway that is simply too far gone, will take too much repair to bring it up to an acceptable level. So that's where we'll come through and mill and overlay that street, such as example is 82nd Street along our detour route from the 83rd Street sanitary sewer project. That street is just, we can't save that one with lightweight aggregate. Nothing's going to hold it together. So we simply have to remove it and replace that with an overlay. So sometimes they just get too far gone, and we've run into a couple of those every year that we have to do that. So,
Thank you for doing that again. I think I've asked you to do that every year, and I appreciate it. Could you come back next year and do it too?
Well, I think we'll have to leave that up to the next person to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We've got a motion and a second. No other comments? Ask clerk to call the vote, please.
Alderman Mock,
Yes.
Alderman Azier,
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green,
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green,
Yes.
Alderman Melson,
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk,
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot,
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Emerson,
Yes.
Alderman Ertz,
Yes.
And item number 3, please.
a resolution authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Thorne and Sons Asphalt Paving for the 2014 asphalt overlay program in an amount not to exceed $330,000.
Mr. Knoll, anything to add, sir?
I'll take this one.
Mr.
This is
Hanson.
our annual overlay, 2-inch of asphalt. These, how many streets? These 6 streets will be milled 2 inches along the edge, some of them through the middle, some of them not, to get more crown, more depth on the street. But this will be the 2-inch type 5 asphalt. It's more resistant to rutting and shoving. We took bids. We had 5 companies bid. And Thorne and Son was the lowest and best bidder. They came in about right where we needed and wanted for our budget. Any questions?
Mr. Mock?
Go ahead. Somebody else is ahead.
What?
I think it's Mr. Van Busker.
I'll follow him up if I can.
Oh, for crying out loud,
Thank
one
you.
of you make your question, please.
Okay, good. Okay, we had 5 sealed bids this year.
Yes.
We have a right-time contractor this year, Thorne and Sons. Been around for a long, long time. It's good to see this, or hear this, I should say. There's concerns that I've had, in fact, with 83rd Street about the manhole covers. This, about getting those raised, the rings on getting them raised back up. We make sure that we take a good look at that, make sure those manhole covers are level with the asphalt itself.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing with all the water valves, the manholes, AT&T, the city. The process goes so fast, and it's almost impossible. The best way to do it is typically after the fact. Sometimes we can get a very good match, but as you mentioned, Thorne and Son did do the paving on 83rd Street for our sewer project. They were the subcontractor. That project there was probably close to $200,000 for the milling and the overlay. So it will be the same contractor that did 83rd that does the rest of the streets.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Van Buskirk?
I'd like to make a motion that the resolution be approved.
Second.
Mr. Van Buskirk's got the motion, seconded by Mr. Azier. Item number 3. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Azier?
I just wanted to add, it is, for me, good to see a local resident get the bid. I know Mr. Thorne and his son and grandchildren attended Raytown High School, Raytown South. They've been residents of this community for decades, and they, over the years, have picked up a number of small projects, so I'm pleased to see that they got our major project this year. And I'm sure they do a good job.
Any other comments? We've got a motion and a second. No further comments. Call a vote, please.
Alderman Van Buskirk?
Yes.
Alderman Azier?
Yes.
Alderman Mock?
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green?
Yes.
Alderman Ertz?
Yes.
Alderman Emerson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green?
Yes.
Alderman Melson?
Yes.
Very good. Item number 4, please.
A resolution authorizing and approving a surcharge for criminal cases filed in the Raytown Municipal Court.
You want to go ahead and ask the question? Ms. Emerson?
I have a question. When I was working for Digital Ally, they did not have the camera that you wear. Can I still participate in this, or do I have to recluse myself?
Joe, that's a question for you.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. When I was working for Digital Ally, they did not have the camera that you wear. Do I have to recluse myself?
No. She doesn't have
Chuck,
it.
You want to hold that for item 5 or answer the question now, so we're a little ahead of time?
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing now.
Okay. All right, so we're on item number 4. Chief, do you wish to make the presentation, or do you want Captain Michelle Rogers to make the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, you want to give it to
We'll make sure
Michelle,
I'll
or
do
yes,
the
you want to do it?
right thing here.
All right.
We're asking for the board approval for resolution to surcharge $2 on every court proceeding in Raytown Municipal Court. State statute allows for the collection by the court clerk. The funds must be placed in an inmate detainee security fund. They will be used for biometric verification, identification, systems related to pay for detention, custody, housing, and other inmate expenses. Captain Rogers has been in contact with the judge and the court clerk, and they're on board with it. And if approved, we'll get with finance, and we'll have to keep the funds in a separate account. Have any questions?
Questions for Chief or Michelle? Mr. Lightfoot.
So I think you described it just fine, Chief, but just to clarify, that money will go to the detention of people that are in jail through our Raytown court system? Because I know a lot of the time we have it costs more to keep them there than what we're actually allowed to pay, so that money will go toward that expense?
Yes, it can go to that expense.
Okay. I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Lightfoot's got the motion to approve, second by Mr. Kramer. We're still in discussion. Ms. Melson.
Is this a new court? You say about the revised state statute, is that a new statute, or why haven't we done this before?
You know, our detention supervisor found the state statute, and I don't know if it's something that is brand new or what, but we did locate it, and I think maybe there's just a few other agencies around the metropolitan area that are doing it. Not everybody is yet, so.
Oh, well, that's kind of my question was, is that, you know, we could have been having this all along, perhaps, and we just didn't really know about it?
I'm not sure when it went into effect, the state statute.
I print all my stuff big, but I think this says August of 2013, so I don't.
Okay. Oh, so it
I don't
hadn't
know
been
if it
around.
went in. I can't sit here and say that's when, but it does say on the 20th of August 2013, so something relatively new,
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
I think.
Mr. Van Busker.
How many dollars do you anticipate collecting on a yearly basis from this?
Supervisor Hardigree did an average, and annually, totally, somewhere between $15,000.
Okay. What percentage of this, I know that it says a portion of this can and probably will be used for biometric verification systems, and which you might explain a little bit about what that is, but I assume fingerprinting is a biometric verification system in itself, right?
Yes,
This is just probably a sophisticated form of it you're talking about. How much of the money would go towards that? How much of it towards detention?
Well, we have a contract with our LifeScan. We just, in the past year, had a LifeScan machine for fingerprinting our inmates and everybody who's brought into the jail. And there is a yearly maintenance on that machine, which is approximately $5,000. So I would imagine that we would probably use $5,000 of it to go towards that. And then also we're looking at getting the fingerprint card readers out in the field to our officers so we can actually identify somebody out in the field just like that through biometrics.
Okay. So what percentage do you think might be going for that?
This is relatively new for us, so we haven't figured out the actual breakdown of it yet, so.
Do you think a portion of it would be going towards detention costs, though? I guess that's my real.
That's our plan is, to use it towards, the biometric verification, jail maintenance, and inmate housing. And those are the items that it has to be used for. And we intend to use it for all of those items to split it equally among them.
Okay. If you wanted to purchase more sophisticated equipment related to biometric verification with that, that would allow you to do that too, is that
Absolutely,
correct?
yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just on that, we talked at the last meeting also, we're trying to get a local law enforcement block grant that will put those 5 biometric readers in police car, and build upon that. But we're looking for grant money for that, and these things, communicate. A lot of people, as you know, don't have ID or whatever in the field, so it's just a start.
Thank you, Chief. I know we've discussed this a little bit. I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Any other questions? We've got a motion and a second already on this item. No further questions. I ask the clerk to call the vote.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Yes.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Van Busker.
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes.
Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
Alderman Emerson.
Yes.
Now, do we want to take up the question earlier asked?
Alderman Emerson, at this time, do you have any relationship with Digital Ally, Inc., and you'd have no financial interest or benefit that would be helped by them passing or the awarding of this contract? In that event, I don't believe you are materially disqualified, and only if you felt awkward because of the past relationship you could choose not to take part, but I don't believe you're legally disqualified, and I think you're fine to participate in it if you wish.
How about that for an answer? That's right on the mark. Ask the clerk to perform the reading on item number 5, please.
A resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds for body cameras and related equipment from supplies from Digital Alley, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $25,440 for fiscal year 2013-2014.
Chief, do you want Captain Rogers to read this also in the presentation?
We're asking the board for approval of purchase of body cameras from Digital Ally in excess of $15,000. Digital Ally is a sole source vendor and it currently uses them for our in-car cameras. This expenditure was presented to the Sales Tax Oversight Committee, and they agree that it meets the intent of the voters for the capital sales tax. A little about the cameras. The cameras are capable of 25 to 254 hours record time and have a 60-second pre-event record time. So when you're hitting the button, you can actually capture time, before time. So it captures, the event as it happens. Actually, it's not on, but it's on. So it captures 60 seconds pre-recorded time. They're capable of 4.5 hours of continuous record, and the camera helps protect against false accusations, declare citizen complaints, reduce agency liability, helps collection of evidence, professionalism, and perception. This is a non-budgeted item, however, we're using available budgeted funds with capital sales tax, and we're asking for board approval. Have you have any questions? Michelle will answer them.
Chief reads, Michelle answers. Okay. Any questions of Michelle? Mr. Van Buskirk.
Refresh my memory here. How many cameras are we purchasing?
Approximately 31 cameras, and then the software upgrade.
Right. Who specifically will those be assigned to? I guess my question is, and maybe you can give me an explanation for that, the necessity of purchasing that many cameras, or can cameras be moved from shift to shift and, officer to officer, or is it necessary to purchase that many? And you explain for me,
Right.
if you will.
It's easier to purchase for each individual officer. The 31 cameras are going to outfit our patrol unit, including corporals and sergeants right now. And I believe it is necessary that each officer has their own body camera assigned to them. It can be, it'll be in their name. If we need to search for video, we can search by the officer's name. They'll be responsible for it. They'll be responsible for charging it, downloading it, giving it to the sergeant to download. It would be nice to be able to even, purchase more down the line to upfit our detective unit also with body cameras.
I can certainly see the benefit of it. I know there's some flaws too, because I'm sure a camera only sees what's, the camera sees. It's not seeing things peripherally necessarily that, to the side of you. But I certainly think it will be a good thing for us to have. I understand that we have been testing some of the cameras.
We have.
Some officers have, is that correct?
Yes, Officer Porch and Officer Sheets. We started testing the body cameras back in March, and they were, they work well.
Been successful.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yes, and another thing too is that they're compatible with our in-car cameras. So when the way the cameras are set up now is that when the officers turn on their emergency lights, the camera automatically turns on, the in-car camera. Well, this can be set up to also activate their body camera too. So not only is their in-car camera going, but their body camera is going too.
And I could certainly see it beneficial to have all of the officers have that, the availability of those at some point down the line. Thank you.
Mr. Ertz?
How long will these digital records be kept? Sounds like a lot of filming, so.
Right. Currently, we keep them for 2 years unless it's evidence. And then there's time limits on how long we keep evidence, obviously.
Will we be storing that with us, or is that?
No, it'll be stored on our hard drive.
It will be on our hard drive. So
Yes.
it will
It's
be
not,
protected.
and it's not in a cloud or online.
Okay.
It's
We will
on our
always
hard
have
drive.
access to it then.
Oh, yes, sir.
And the public would then also. Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Emerson?
Do the cameras have a wide field?
They do. I'm not quite sure. I don't have that with me on how wide it is, but it's, by watching the video from Officer Sheets and Officer Porch, it's a pretty good field and very clear picture. It's HD quality, and it's just like you're there with them.
Okay. Well, I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Emerson's got the motion to approve, seconded by Ms. Melson. Ms. Melson, you're up next for discussion.
You said that, let's see here, that the officers would be responsible for downloading?
No, they would be responsible for turning it into their sergeant to download it. The sergeant has the capability of downloading it.
Okay, 'cause I
But they
thought,
cannot, they're not able to delete anything from the,
Okay.
No.
And then, how long would these body cameras last for? I mean, is there an upgrade that has to be done in 5 years, 3 years?
that's something, that we're probably going to have to look at down the road, maybe 3 to 5 years, just like our in-car cameras. We just finished the upgrade for our
Right.
in-car cameras.
And would that also include the software then? That you'd have to upgrade the software and upgrade the cameras a certain
Yeah.
replacement value or time
It
frame?
just depends however often Digital Ally comes up with a software upgrade.
Okay.
I can't say when that would be.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Jason Green?
Thank you. And like Alderman Van Buskirk mentioned earlier, obviously, you're not going to be able to see peripheral vision with these or smell with these, and things such as that, or, maybe even hear certain aspects, but obviously this is a good step. I think, like I mentioned, the budget meetings, protect the city liability-wise. I think this is a smart move, and I obviously will support this.
Thank you.
Mr. Josh Green?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also agree with the other Alderman Green. I think this is a great step towards protecting the city from any liability. Also, I just think it's overall good for the police department. It can be used for training purposes and stuff like that as well. But I do have a few questions. I think you you answered the first one for me, but I didn't hear it. How long did you say the battery life was on these cameras?
2 to 5 days of instant, or 2.5 days of instant record time, and approximately 4.5 hours of continuous record.
Okay.
And it records 25 to 54 hours of record time. And that's with that up to 60-second pre-event record, too, just like our in-car cameras do.
Okay, so basically normal situation, it'd be lasting for about 25 hours.
Yes.
At minimum, okay. My question was, does the department already have like a set of guidelines on how officers are supposed to essentially, like, if they're supposed to have it on at all times, or what basically the discipline is if it's not, or anything like that? I just want to know if we have everything fleshed out on that already.
I'm currently working on the policy for our body camera. We do currently have a policy for our in-car video. I am probably a quarter of the way through the body camera policy, but no, we will have the policy in place.
Okay.
Yes.
And I figured it'd probably just be kind of like adapt over what you can from that. And then whenever you guys get that finished, if I can get a copy of that emailed to me, I appreciate it. I just, just kind of interested. Also, Do we have a specific amount of time for how long we retain that data, or is it just?
Well, right now, we keep it for approximately 2 years unless it's evidence within a case. And if it's evidence or something that's going to go to trial, we do keep it longer. And then we'll also, download it onto a CD and store it in evidence also that way.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Ms. Emerson?
What is the warranty on it?
I believe it's a 1-year warranty. I'm not quite sure on that. But, with Digital Ally, we haven't really had any problems with them. They are really, really good at working with us and, getting us the help that we need with our in-car cameras. I've been really pleased with their service they provide.
Well, I knew on the rearview mirror cameras that it was a 2-year, but this is a 1-year, you
Yeah,
think?
I'm not sure on that, the warranty on the camera. I can check on that and get back with you, though.
If you would, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Very good. We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the vote, please.
Alderman Emerson?
Yes.
Alderman Melson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Ertz?
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green?
Yes.
Alderman Josh Green?
Yes.
Alderman Van Busker?
Yes.
Alderman Azier?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman Mock?
Yes.
Very good. Captain Rogers, thank you for your presentation. Item number 6 is a public hearing to consider, to establish the annual property tax levy rate for the year 2014. I'll ask the clerk to perform the second reading on this at this time.
An ordinance establishing the annual property tax levy rate for the City of Raytown General Operating Fund and the Park Fund for the year 2014.
We'll reopen the public hearing at this time. Tom, from your side, anything to add since the last meeting?
There is no additional information. Again, each year the state of Missouri requires us to establish our property tax levy by October 1st. Again, each year the levy can shift up or down based on the direction that the assessments go. And again, that's not to increase necessarily new money into the city, but simply to provide for a stable platform that we can plan on for year to year. In this particular instance, the assessments are a little bit down this year. So based on the formula that the state of Missouri gives us, we are allowed to increase our tax levy rate by 0.0046 cents per $100, which would put us at a rate of 37.4 cents per $100 in total.
Very good. Any questions of Mr. Cole before we open it up to public comment? Would anyone in the audience like to address the board on this particular matter at this time? Okay, back to questions. We'll close public comment. We'll go to questions. Mr. Green.
I was just going to go ahead and make a motion to approve.
I'll close the public hearing then, and we'll go straight to the board discussion. You want to offer the motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Josh Green's got the motion to approve, seconded by Mr. Ertz. Discussion before we vote on this. Mr. Van Buskirk.
Well, this is an exercise we have to go through every year and a game we have to play. And of course, I'm very familiar with the Hancock Amendment and how that works, and the fact that we cannot increase taxes without going to the taxpayers. And this is to prevent that, certainly, because if property values go up and we keep our mill levy the same, then we would get an increase. We do get an increase for relative to the consumer price index, though, right? That is built into it. So there's another increase that we do get each year. And I think that was, this year, that was what? 1.5? I believe so. Is that correct? Okay. My problem with this is that I understand it. I understand the necessity of our getting the revenues as a city, but I really don't feel like it's necessarily our money. It's the taxpayers' money. And when you have a situation where the value of property goes down, and if that individual sells their property, they will get less for their property because the value is less. But they have to pay the same amount in taxes. I really don't believe that's fair. And I understand that if it went the other way, what we would have to do, and I understand the potential loss in that, but I just, in good conscience, can't vote to support this, and I will be voting no. And I know that there's always an argument of, well, it's not a lot of money, but obviously it's enough that we're going through this process and we are increasing it, or asking for an increase in the mill levy. So I will be voting no. Thank you.
Further discussion? We got a motion and a second. No further discussion. Call the vote, please.
Alderman Josh Green.
Yes.
Alderman Ertz.
Yes.
Alderman Jason Green.
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
No.
Alderman Emerson.
No.
Alderman Melson.
Yes.
Alderman Azier.
Yes.
Alderman Mock.
Yes.
Alderman Kramer.
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot.
No.
Motion passes. With that, that concludes the agenda that we have in front of us tonight. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by the right. All those on the right have motion for approval. You need a name? We'll give this one to Mr. Azier, and the second to Ms. Emerson. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? We are